everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of What If Deku Was a Villain. Last we left off, he was listening to All For One and Shigaraki talk about getting rid of Deku and Toga if needed to be. So after Deku told Toga All For One's and Shigaraki's plans of getting rid of him, they decided to leave the League of Villains and go somewhere else to start their own league, I guess you could say. Their own group. And as they were trying to leave, Shigaraki stopped them and asked where they're going. And Deku and Toga would say, "No, we're just trying to go get something to eat, I guess." Shigaraki would just push it off, saying, "Fine, but get back here for the next raid," or the plans for the next raid. As they left, they went to a store to go grab some food and some drinks, as they would go to another town to try and find a place to stay. That's when they came across an abandoned store with a bigger space in the back for more activities. So they stayed there for the time being so that they can set up shop and try to get their group together. So as Toga was putting the food away in the back room, Deku would leave the abandoned building, making sure to always keep contact with Toga so that they always know what's going on. And Deku came across a man standing over the body of a dead hero. As the man would say, "You're unfit to be a hero. You're not a true hero." As the man would just disappear from Deku's sight. As Deku would scratch his head, shrugging it off, saying it's just nothing. As he would look down, he would see the pro hero on the floor. Deku would walk up to him, kick him in the head, saying "stupid hero," and then just keep kicking him and kicking him and kicking him. As someone would walk down the alleyway and notice what he was doing, they would walk up to Deku to try and stop him, but Deku turned around and gave him a glare. As they tried to run, Deku just teleports right in front of them, cuts their throat with the knife he had in his pocket, leaving them to die right there. No one else noticed or heard the person in the alleyway, so Deku just teleported back to his base. Deku just teleported back to his base where Toga was, as they would just hang out and talk and plan on what they're gonna do now. A few days passed, and Deku and Toga were getting their group bigger. The group of misfit villains was getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the day. The store out front was just a normal shop, and the locked room in the back had a secret entrance, to where you have to talk to the clerk to get the secret passcode if you're in the group to get in. If you didn't know it, then you couldn't enter. And the clerk would just alert the group. The back room had multiple exits to get out of there. They had one underneath the beds in one of the rooms. They had one in the ceiling to get to the roof. And then they had one that goes even further underground to the sewer system to leave. Toga and Deku knew all the exits. The only ones that the others knew of were the roof and the back door. They didn't know about the sewer one or the other one underneath the bed. One of the days they decided that they're going to start pushing products out to everyone, heroes and villains, but disguise themselves as normal people doing it. and they thought of a product. Why not quirk enhancements? As Deku and Toga would just go out, do their normal stuff, everyone else in the group would create the products. Soon enough, the Yakuzas heard about them, and they wanted to meet. As Deku would meet up with the leader of the Yakuzas, Overhaul, sorry. He'd meet up with Overhaul and a few of his lackeys, and they would talk about what to do. As Overhaul would notice this kid standing in front of him. He would ask, why is a kid doing all of this? Deku heard that, and he got mad, and he said, because I was broken at an early age. You try living your life, just shattered dreams, no emotions, being beaten every day. And then you try murdering your own parent right in front, and then you try to murder your own parents and figure out how you're going to move on from a normal life to insanity the next day. Overhaul just thought for a second. He said, okay, fine, I take back what I said. Now, we're meeting here because you want to make quirk enhancement products. And Deku said, yeah. Overhaul said, I make quirk erasing bullets and quirk enhancement bullets. Deku said, oh, so you want to make a partnership? Overhaul said, yes. We'll send quirk erasing bullets and quirk enhancement bullets to you. You get your guys to spread out the products, and we'll make a deal of 60-40, 60 us, 40 you for the product of the bullets. And for the products that you guys sell, you guys can decide on the product rating. And Deku said, why not 70-30? Overhaul was a little bit surprised to hear that he was willing to give him 30%. He only thought he was going to get about 10 to 15. So Overhaul and Deku made a deal that Deku would get 40% of the quirk enhancement and erasing bullets, and Overhaul would get 30% of the enhancement products that Deku sells. And the reason why they give Deku the bullets to disperse is because he has a better system of getting them out there. So, time for the, hang on. Now it's time for the, during this time, the festival's going on. As Deku would watch on TV, as he would watch Bakugo, and he would get mad because he's seen Bakugo. But Toga would calm him down just to say, keep watching because it's going to get more interesting. And she was right, it was very interesting. At the end, the prizes go as canon. Bakugo in first, second place, third place, and all that. As they thought of what to do next, they thought, why not go to this place out in the woods? We can make this place out in an abandoned cave near this supposed hero training camp, and we can make more products out there. And Toga asked, sure, but why out there? And Deku said, if we set up a place out there, is they're at least gonna expect it if it's near a hero's place, right? Toga started laughing, and she said, yeah, and she would jump at him, hugging him and tackling him to the ground, as they would just start laughing. Everyone would look around and notice that their boss is having a fun time, and it's the first time they've seen him like that. So they just get a little smile on their face and went back to their work. Some people sitting at a small little bar that they set up into the room. Some people eating some lunch at the cafeteria in another room. And others just sitting there working. as Deku would get a drink at the bar. Sorry about so much yawning. As Deku would get a drink at the bar, Toga walked up behind him and said, "You shouldn't be drinking so early. You might ruin your appetite for lunch or breakfast or dinner." As Deku pat Toga on the head and said, "It's fine. I'll still eat." And Toga got a little flustered at Deku patting her head, and she said, "Okay," and just walked off to the bedroom where Toga and Deku stayed at, where everyone else had bunks in a different room. As Toga would just go back into the other room, Deku watched and he got a sinister grin on his face, saying, "Now, let's teleport over to that forest, shall we?" As Deku teleported over to the forest where the training camp would be at, he noticed that there were some students there already. And he thought, "Oh, this should be interesting," as he set up a blockade in front of the cave, making it look like it collapsed. But setting up a small, I guess you could say a small window somewhere so that they can look out. And Deku started up a lab and everything inside the cave. And he set up I guess you could say that he created himself a module to teleport other people from one location to the other. So he set up a module in the cave, and he teleported back and said, "Okay, the new module for the cave is set up, and there's already a lab in there, so some people go ahead and teleport it. Go ahead and use the module and get in there." As they would teleport to the new lab, Deku said, "This lab is going to be used for drugs. We're going to make some normal drugs and some better drugs with quirk enhancement into it. Maybe give them a little bit of a chaos with this rush." As they all started chuckling, Deku said, "Now, go ahead and get on in there and start creating some fun, now would ya?" They all started chanting, and then they all just went into the new lab. Most of them stayed back at the normal lab, but about 4 or 5 went to the new lab. Deku went to the new lab with Toga to see what was going on, because he got a call saying that there's a bunch of noise outside. Deku would look out the small window that he created into the rubble. It would notice that there's a kid about to be killed by this giant ball of muscle. As Deku would teleport out there with Toga, stopping the guy with one hand, breaking his wrist, snapping his arm, and ripping his arm off his body, throwing it to the side. The kid would see this and just run back to the base, to where the Wild Wild Pussycats were. Deku saying, "Aw, now there's our only witness. Looks like we can't get this done without a clean slate, huh?" Toga would laugh and say, "Can I get his blood?" Deku would say, "Sure." As Deku would teleport onto Muscular's back, if he didn't already know who he was, and snap his neck, instantly dropping him down to the floor. And Deku would question why there's villains here at a hero training camp, as Deku would ask Toga to use the module to get back to the base, and he'll be in call with her the whole time. He has to check out a few things. As Deku would hop down off the cliff onto the forest floor, speeding around using his enhancement quirk to look around to see what's going on, he would notice Dobby there, using his flames to keep the area of the heroes enclosed in fire. And Deku would run up behind Dobby it's just in a blink. He would be behind Dobby, knocking him out. And Deku would think, this is the first time of actually being a hero for once. and I might as well kill some kids while I'm here. This will be fun anyways. As he left Dobby unconscious, he didn't want to kill his best friend, because in the time of Deku, Dobby, and Toga being there, they all became really close. And he would come across some of the other villains: Mustard, Splinter, Magma, Twice, and a couple others. As Deku would run up to Twice, knocking him out, as he would teleport Dobby and Twice to another room in the base, calling Toga and saying, "Hey, I brought Dobby and another guy here that might be interesting." Toga said, "Ooh, where are they?" And Deku would say they're in the interrogation room 1. Toga would skip along and go into the interrogation room, as Dobby and Twice would wake up asking where they're at. Toga would walk into the room saying, "You're in our new base, welcome," as Twice would be, doing a Twice thing, saying, "Oh, you're pretty cute, why are we here?" in his 2-personality split. And Dobby would walk over to Toga, give her a high five and saying, "Sweet, you brought me out of the hellhole." And Twice would ask, "You know this Pipsqueak? I knew you had a good friend around." And Dobby would say, "Yeah, I've known this one and the one that knocked you out for a while." And Twice would say, "Oh, that rat? Nice, you have some real friends." And Dobby would just glare at Twice and say, "Yeah, whatever." And Toga would ask Twice if he wanted to join their group. Twice said, "Sure, why not? Is there a price I have to pay?" And Toga would say, "No, just don't break our loyalty and trust." Twice said, "You got it, cutie. Why not have some fun around here later?" And Twice would just walk out with Dobby, just hanging out. As Toga would say, there's a special room for me, Izu, Dobby, and Twice around here somewhere you guys can all hang out in. As Dobby would ask, how did he know that we would be here? And Toga would say, let's just say he had a hunch about some things. And Deku would go around knocking all the villains out. Some of the heroes would see him as he would stop in front of the Wawa Pussycats, saying hi and greeting them. They would ask if he's a hero or a villain, and Deku would think for a second, and he would say, "I'm not a hero or a villain," as Deku would get a psychotic look on his face, and the heroes felt his bloodlust, as he would say, "I'm your doomsday," as he would just slaughter the heroes that came at him and some of the kids that were there. The ones that didn't make it back were Mineta and I'm gonna say Mineta and the Invisible Girl and Odro didn't make it, so they died. As Deku was covered in blood, body parts just spread out around him. Aizawa came around out of the forest to see there's slaughtered students and heroes right in front of this kid. As he would walk up to him, he noticed that it's that kid again from the USJ. He would try to stop him, but he teleported back to his base. As he would teleport into the room where Dobby, Twice, and Toga were sitting in, they would ask why he's covered in blood. And Twice would ask, "Why are you covered in blood? Did you jump in some strawberry jam?" And Deku would laugh, saying, "No, I just may or may not have slaughtered some people, so I'm gonna go take a shower." As Toga would say, "Ooh, let me lick the blood off of you," chasing after him as he would run to the shower, trying to get away from Toga. Dobby and Twice would look at each other and just shrug, saying they're kinda crazy. A few days went by, and I'm just gonna throw the Island incident in there. It goes as canon, but Deku isn't there, and Mirio is, so everything goes the same as the Island event. Well, except the heroes are a little bit stronger, and All Might isn't there, so Mirio fights the whole time with that villain instead of All Might going at him. As the, about a few months later, it's the finals. And Deku thought it would be a smart idea to try and get some UA students on his side. Try and bribe him in, get him enhancement drugs, and try and make him a part of his league so he can always get information. And Toga thought that'd be a good idea, but who? And Deku looked at Dabi and he said, why not Dabi's brother? As Dabi heard this, he said, who? And Deku would say, Todoroki, or you know him better, don't you? And Dabi knew exactly who he was talking about. He said, I think he'd join. Because in this, Todoroki, I don't remember his first name, had a way harsher training. Way more training. He had way more burn marks on him. So as Deku would find Todoroki by himself one day, him and Dabi teleported right in front of him, asking him some questions. Todoroki would just try and get away, but then Dabi would put some flames around him, keeping him in the standstill. And Todoroki was knocked out by Deku teleporting behind him and teleported into the interrogation room. And Dabi would be the one questioning him. So as they were questioning him, and Todoroki did agree, and he gets the red hair turned to black and his mark was covered in purple, just like Dabi's. And I think I'm going to leave it off here. If you guys want to ship in this, you guys can comment it down below. The reason why I have Toga flustered so much is because it's what Toga normally does. But if you guys want that to be a ship, comment it down below and I'll make it the ship. If not, then you guys could leave suggestions for new what ifs I can do. I feel like I mainly would do some villain what ifs, but if I need to, I will do some hero what ifs. So comment what the ship you guys want it to be for Deku, and I guess Todoroki as well, if you guys want him to have a ship. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.